Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I'm going to give you an introduction to surcharging. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty in our industry right now about kind of the direction of these programs to pass the cost of processing onto the consumer. However, one thing that we know for sure is that surcharging is compliant with Visa rules. There are many states, most states now, where surcharging is perfectly acceptable, compliant, and legal. And this is important because when you have legal precedent and when things have been taken to court and decisions have been made and rules are in writing, it does make it a little bit easier to kind of understand, okay, this is the way it is. There's a rule about it, there's a law about it, there's compliance. And so I really want to start talking about surcharging. As I've talked about in many videos previously, I believe all the current cash discount programs are eventually going to go to surcharging. The timeline is a little bit up in the air. There are big changes really happening even this week with some of the biggest companies starting to put a lot of pressure on their largest ISOs to eliminate quote-unquote cash discount programs that add a service fee at the register. And they want those processing companies, those ISOs, they want them to move towards compliant surcharge programs. And so I really believe, as you know, I'm very passionate about educating the industry, educating sales agents and ISOs. And so I would be remiss if I did not put out a series of videos where I talked about surcharging. Where did it come from? What is all this about the Supreme Court case? What did it really do? What happened in New York? So we're going to break down all of this information for you in the next few videos. And I really want to challenge you to go through these videos. I'm not going to lie. The next few videos are going to be honestly pretty boring because I'm just covering a lot of basic information that you need to know. But you really need to be an expert in this because it is a lot more complicated than traditional cash discount programs that you would see in our marketplace today. These cash discount programs have like a flat, fee, maybe it's 3.99% or whatever, and that's applied to everything. And so it's very simple to implement a program like that. There's really not much to it. Also, because Visa is against it, and Visa considers those programs that are called cash discount to be not compliant with their rules, there really aren't any rules about it. And so you don't have to notify the card brands. You don't have to register. You don't have to really do anything with cash discount programs. And so as a result, they can seem very easy to implement, whereas surcharging has some complication to it. Why? Because there are many different state laws. There are some state laws that are still in flux where you're kind of figuring out what you can do, right? There are Visa rules where you have to do very specific things in order to be in compliance if you're going to do a surcharge program. There's signage that you have to have. There are very specific rules. And so as a result of that, you really want to understand all of it so you can have an educated conversation with the merchant and so you can make sure that your own program is compliant and or that you're selling for a program that's compliant. And so compliance is really the key word here when we're talking about surcharging. Now, the other thing that we're going to get into is pricing. Now, there are a lot of different pricing schemes that are going on right now with surcharging. Our industry has never lacked ambition to find, profitable things to do, right? So, we're always looking at pricing. Now, again, with cash discounting, it was really easy, right? It was like add 3.99% to everything or add a per item fee to everything and then charge the merchant the same thing. They generally offset each other with maybe a few monthly fees and you're making a lot of money. Surcharging is significantly more complex, massively more complex, and you don't want to lose sight of that because it is a lot more complex, okay? We recently implemented surcharging on our instant quote tool at instantquotetool.com for both our ISO clients and our individual agents, and I can tell you, after trying to create the documentation and the guide for how to create a surcharge program, I've given it, I think, 7 or 8 attempts now. I'm still not done. It is extremely complicated to get it set up. Now, we're going to walk through all of that in these videos and explain how the pricing works, how you need to set it up. But you've got to understand that, again, it's complicated. There's a lot that you need to understand. And so we're going to go through all of this with you. We're going to have the whole series of videos done. And so you can kind of walk through it and really understand it. So in the next video, we're going to talk about the history of surcharging, which actually started, looking at my notes here, back in 1974. And so don't worry, not going to be too dry, but we're going to kind of go through and talk about surcharging. Where did it come from? What are the court cases that are relevant? What are the Visa rules that are relevant? And we're going to talk about all of that in the next video. So make sure you jump on that to learn the history of surcharging. And believe me, by the time we get to the end of this little mini series, you're going to love the videos because they're going to be talking about, now that you have this knowledge, how how do you actually go sell it? How do you make money with surcharging? Because I know at the end of the day, that's what we all want to do. But let me challenge you to take time as a payments professional to understand what you're doing, because it does make a big difference. Merchants are going to have a lot of questions about this program. You need to understand the ins and outs so that you can have an educated conversation with the merchant, and so you can have the self-confidence that you need to really attack this exciting new program. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see the rest of this course, head over to ccsalespro.com/proclub, PROCLUB, or click the link below this video. If you don't know what the Pro Club is, it's awesome. We do a workshop every month on things like overcoming objections, cash discounting and surcharging, all kinds of great topics. We do workshops every month, an exclusive community, full access to all my training courses, and of course, this new one we just shot on surcharging. So head over to ccsalespro.com/proclub. Once you sign up for that, you're going to get our instant quote tool. You're going to get our workshops, our community, all the great training courses we have. Hope you enjoy it and look forward to seeing you there.